Greetings, everyone. My name is Bob Rust. I'm with Rust Law, LLC. This time I'd like to speak with you about a fairly pressing and important subject, and that's what is our life going to be like after the pandemic has subsided and we're looking to see whether it will make a return again in the fall or the winter. A lot of good things have happened, a lot of important things have happened, but I think it's first you ought to keep it in context of history. Spanish flu was far worse. It hit younger people terribly. Many of the same things that we're doing now, they did back then. Only not too many years afterwards, just to forget them and go back to a regular routine. And also keeping in perspective that when you have something that's new, that it's unknown, when you model it, your modeling assumptions are also uncertain. So don't panic. If someone says, oh, the sky is falling, wait and see, but do the sensible things that we've all been told to do. But I'd like to speak just a bit about what's going to happen afterwards, at least in my judgment, at least I hope it does. One of the things we know about COVID-19 is it attacks the elderly and it attacks those with underlying conditions. So common sense says that we're going to change our protocols. We're going to need to change our protocols, our procedures in places like nursing homes, in places like hospitals, in places like doctors' offices, and that will include everything from how those facilities are routinely cleaned, disinfected, whole new routines in terms of the people that are there, the distance between them, what to do if one comes down with something serious that is infectious. What just as important is going to be what is our legislature going to do, because there's no question that before the pandemic hit, many of our elder care centers were not performing up to par according to even state law. And state law itself is behind relative to what we're now learning as it relates to COVID-19. So our legislatures and therefore ourselves as citizens in petitioning our state representatives, the state senator and the governor's office need to speak. And if we have expertise, to share it. If we have concerns based on good common sense as a citizen, to share that as well. I think we're going to see that it's going to be a slower return, particularly in this part of Pennsylvania, than we would like, to a full-blown economy. It's going to be a really dicey thing. I think the most important thing for all of us as citizens is that we keep a sound mind and a healthy spirit. And in that regard, this is a time that many of us, I know that I'm part of a group called Believers in Business. It's a faith-based business networking group, are learning something we've learned before, but relearning it in a special way. It is important to rely on doctors and on specialists and the CDC. But fundamentally, the greatest reliance needs to be on the Lord, and Him know that His will work for the good, and that we should rely on that. So I would encourage all of us to be getting ready to emerge, to do our business, but to do it sensibly. 2 or 3 years from now, we may have forgotten some of this, but right now, do it sensibly, because we are facing the potential of a dual hit with both the regular flu and COVID-19 in the fall or the winter. But do it with a sound mind and a cheerful spirit and if you will, reliance on the Lord. And in that regard, I offer a prayer up to everyone and their families, but particularly those who are elderly and with underlying conditions, and who are lonely now because they're not being able to see family. that Lord be with all of us, be with them particularly, give them comfort, that to know that their loved ones care for them, their loved ones can't wait to be back together with them, and to know that this too will pass. But most fundamentally, to rely on you as we go forward from this point into the future. Amen.